Today we are going to be learning how to sew a notch collar jacket. Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. In my previous tutorial we drafted the pattern of a notch collar jacket. I'll be dropping the link in the description box in case you are yet to see that. And now I already transferred the pattern to the fabric just like I have here. I transferred to the main fabric and also to the lining. So here is the center front where we are going to have our lapel and also our collar. I transferred to the main fabric, this yellow fabric, and also transferred to this Ankara fabric, which I want to use for the lapel. So any kind of fabric or color you want to use for the lapel is what you are going to cut to make the facing for the center front instead of a lining. So here is going to be the side front. So for the side front, I also cut two for the main fabric and I cut lining for this one. So it is this lining of the side front that's going to be joined together to the facing of the center front. So here is the center back. I also cut two for the lining and two for the main fabric. Then as for the collar, I cut Ankara for the collar and also cut lining. I want the collar and the lapel to be the same thing. That is why I cut out Ankara fabric, that is an African print, for both the facing and the collar. Then this is the side back. I cut the main fabric, then I added my side seam and my stitching allowance. So we are going to start by joining the front piece together. So I'm going to start by joining the main fabric to the main fabric, then the lining to the lining. And do not forget you are going to add your fusible interface to all the fabrics. So you are going to pick one of the center front, one of the side front, fabric to fabric, just like you see me doing. You secure it with a pin, then you pick the other two pieces, secure it with a pin as well, just like you see me doing. Whatever fabric you want to use to make your lapel that you want it to show outside is what you are going to cut to make a facing for the center front. And if you want the same color or the same fabric for both the lapel and the body of the jacket, you are going to cut that same fabric as the facing for the center front. I hope you understand the explanation. Okay, for the lining as well, you are going to join the facing for the center front and the lining for the side front, just like you see me placing the two side by side. For the back, we are going to have 4 pieces all together, same way we have for the front, the side and the center. Okay, so you are going to pick fabric to fabric, lining to lining. For the back, we have just fabric and lining. There is no facing. It's either you join the side back to the center back first, or you join the center back first, any which way ever that is convenient for you. Just make sure you join the 4 pieces together accordingly, just like I've arranged this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and join these 4 pieces together. Now for the collar, I already have my main fabric and the lining, then I've added my fusible interface to it. We indicated on the pattern that the collar is going to be cut on fold, and we also have this point where we have the notch. Okay, if you have watched the pattern drafting tutorial, you will understand better. So what I'm trying to do here is just to mark out the notch area, because that is where our sewing should stop. Okay, by the time we want to join to the neck of the jacket, we are going to understand this down part that has this round shape is where we are going to be attaching to the neckline of the jacket, and the upper part we are just going to stitch down that upper part. So where we are going to stitch now, I'm going to stop and start my sewing from this chalk that I have here, and I'm going to stitch the upper part alone. Okay, I'm going to stitch the upper part alone, stopping exactly where I have my notch. So guys, now I've joined all the pieces together. This is the back pattern. I'll join it together, and then I'll as for the front lining, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to be placing the front on the back like so. Make sure you align all your fabric, then you stitch the shoulder and the side. So we are going to repeat the same process for the main fabric. So guys, I'm done sewing the collar, and as you can see, this is what we are achieved. So this points where our notch is, that is where I started my sewing all around to the other end, then I notch that point. It's important to notch it because we are going to be turning this inside out, and if you did not notice, there's no how that place is going to be. I already mentioned this. So now I'm going to turn to the right side. Before that, you need to cut off the neckline of the jacket. I might cause a bulge, so just cut, and you can also open press, open up your seam and iron it flat. Then once you're done, this is what is going to look like. When you are sewing, you might just have hemming gum in between, so that by the time you turn it to the right side and iron it, it's going to hold the fabric and the lining together. This is what you are going to have. Then this point that we notched earlier is going to come out. You should have something that looks like this. So this allowance that we have here is where we are going to be sewing. Okay, then don't forget to notch the center, because you're going to be stitching down this curve part. At the back, I just added a bit of design at the back. This is not a must. I just decided to add something to the back. All right, then I open press all my stitch. Same way we did for the lining, we are going to do the same thing for the main fabric. Okay, and you're going to stitch down the shoulder and the side using the added side seam and the sewing allowance. Now I'm done sewing, and this is what it should look like by the time you're done. All right, so the main fabric is ready. The next thing we are going to do now, we are going to be attaching the collar to the neckline. To know where your collar is going to start, you must have notched the point when you are transferring your pattern to the fabric, just like I have here. And if not, come with your pattern paper, place your pattern on your make fabric like so, and make sure you notch that point. So this is where your collar is going to start from, and you're going to be placing this part exactly on it like this. Make sure you notch that point like so, about half an inch, so that you'll be able to place the collar on it. You can simply use a pin to hold it down from this beginning to the very end to see how it is. Place the center of the collar on the center of the back pattern like so. Pin the collar round the neck of the jacket, just like you see me doing. Then you are going to stitch it down with about 1/4 of an inch or 0.5 inch, just to hold the collar and the fabric together. I'm done doing that, and the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to notch all the cuff parts. Notch it round, especially the cuff part. Make sure you do not cut into your seam. You need to be careful. The next thing you're going to do is to place the lining on the fabric. Place the right side of the lining on the right side of the fabric, and you are going to sandwich the collar in between the lining and the main fabric, just like you see me doing. It has to fall to the right side like so. Make sure you align the shoulders, the center of the back neckline, and the center of the front neckline. Align all the neckline first, just like you see me doing. Make sure that the point where the collar started matches with that of the lining. Okay, so once you are done with this, you will now sew it round from the beginning to the very end with 0.5 inch allowance. If you added more than 0.5 when you are transferring your pattern to the fabric, you take exactly the allowance you added. But for me, I have 0.5, so I'm going to sew 0.5 inch all through. As I'm done doing that, and here is what I'm going to have. So by the time you turn to the right side, this is what it should look like. You should have a sharp V like this. It should not be round, it should not be curved, there should not be bulges. Okay, if you do it this way, this is the exact result you are going to get, trust me. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to turn this to the wrong side. We're going to sew the center front line, the hem of the jacket back to the other center front like this. You know, we are going to have just one opening, so that's going to be on the center front. Then we are going to bring it out from the armhole. I'm done doing that, and here is what I have. Now I'm going to turn it to the right side through the armhole. Before you turn it to the right side, make sure you cut any excesses on the corners, okay, the center front, the hem area, and give it a proper press. Okay, then for the sleeve, you can decide to make a two-piece sleeve. I have a video on how to make a jacket sleeve, also known as a two-piece sleeve. I'm going to drop a link in the description box. You can decide to make a basic sleeve, a long sleeve, and you can decide to make any sleeve of your choice. All right, so by the time you finish, this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, it is the Ankara fabric that is showing as the lapel. So this is why you need to be conscious of what and how you want the lapel to be. That is what is going to determine what you're going to use for the facing of the center front and the collar. Okay, for this I'm going to be cutting a basic sleeve. I went ahead to cut my basic sleeve pattern, and I also make use of my African print as the main fabric. Attach other plain fabric on the hem. Then I also cut the lining for this. The way we are going to be joining this, we are going to be joining the lining separate and the fabric separate, because we are going to be attaching the main fabric to the main fabric, then the lining to the lining. Okay, then my lining is about 1 inch shorter than the main fabric, because I want to use the fabric to turn the hem of the lining. I do not want my lining to show at all. Now I went ahead to attach the main fabric to the main fabric, that is a sleeve. Then I'm also going to attach the lining to the lining. So before we do that, now we need to open up this center back of the lining, because that's where we are going to be bringing out the sleeve from. Okay, so I already attached one part of the sleeve, the lining and the main fabric. Just like you can see, this is what it's going to look like. So for me to be able to attach the second part, that is the lining, I need to open up the center back so that I'll be able to bring it out from there, because we are doing a inseam finishing. Okay, so we need to open up the center back so that I'll be able to bring it out. Just like you see me doing, I'm going to pull out the lining from this center back so that I'll be able to join the sleeve inside the lining. Now I'm done doing that, and the next thing I want to do is to finish the hem of the sleeve. Okay, so if you bring out the sleeve, the two is going to be like this, but what we need to do now is to make sure that we finish the hem. So for us to be able to do this, we are still going to bring out the sleeve from this center back that we opened earlier, both the lining and the fabric separately like this. So once you bring it out, this is how it's going to look like. So you make sure that you align the side seam, that part that you join, you align it, both lining and the fabric. Then you are going to place it right side facing each other, just like you see me doing. I hope I'm not too fast. So you bring out the lining, join the center, align the side like so, align the two sides. You can just notch the center of the hem of the sleeve. Then you are going to place it right side facing each other, just like you see me doing. Then you are going to stitch it round. And when you are doing this, make sure that the lining is not folding or the main fabric is not folding. So this is what it looks like after which I'm done sewing. Now we are going to bring it out back like so. Then as you can see, some part of the fabric is inside the lining, because the lining is a bit shorter than the main fabric. And once you dip your hand inside, it should be like this. It should be easier. Make sure that your hand go through. If your hand cannot go through the sleeve, you need to pull it out. Check if any of the part is not folding, then you adjust it. So once you are done with this, you come to the center back and you close it up. So you can either use your hemming stitch or you just use your sewing machine to close it. Okay, so and with that you're done. You give it a proper press and you fix your fastener, that is your button and buttonholes or any other fastener you want to use. It's going to be exactly on your break point. Remember our break point when you are drafting our pattern, that is where your lapel is going to stop. You are going to have your fastener, then you're done. So you can have 1 or 2 buttons depending on what you are trying to achieve. So guys, that'll be all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. So this is what it looks like by the time you're done, and as you can see, the collar area, it's giving that notch effect. It's not folding, and trust me, if you use this method, you are going to get exactly what we have here. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video up to this moment. Do not forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share this video so that we can reach people that might want to learn, or can reach people that might find this video interesting. And to my subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. We hit 2,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you. You guys are amazing, and I'm very sure your love and support continues. Thank you very much for supporting this brand. Thank you very much for supporting this channel. And if you are yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly do so now. Turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new video, you'll be notified. Check the description box for other interesting tutorials. Till we meet again in my next one. Bye bye.